welcome to another video on the Panov series. Today we will look at a completely different angle of this opening. We've looked a lot at bishop g5, a knight f6, knight c6 followed by bishop g5, and today I want to start looking at e6 play for black, but without possible c5 for white. Just today, while I'm recording it, there was a game in Dortmund played between Najdic and Leko. Actually played exactly one of the lines that we have already examined, so it was very interesting to see how they play this modern, very, very modern in those super top tournament. Bishop e7 is one of the moves that we will consider in the future, but bishop b4 seems to be one of the main alternatives right now. Take on d5 is white's main idea. Remember, if white is simply developing his bishop, black is then going to take on c4, and black basically played an extra useful move, bishop b4. c5 is not that effective right now. The black's bishop is not on e7, so even immediately ideas such as knight e4 are very possible. Therefore, capture immediately is the main move for white. Knight take, queen c2, knight c6 is the main move for black. Other than queen c2, we will have bishop d2, which we will examine in exactly the next video. But queen c2, knight c6, this is an extremely interesting and critical position. White has basically two main moves here. Bishop e2 and bishop d3. I would like us to focus on bishop d3. If white plays bishop e2, well, of course it's a very normal position played by extremely strong players. Adams, several games of Adams, mainly with the white pieces, Judith Polgar against Karpov, many strong players have played this way. But I believe that bishop e2 will be somewhat similar to bishop d2 ideas. Bishop d3, on the other hand, is a bit different story. Castle is impossible right now because of the threat on h7, and even if black plays just a useful move, let's say h6, white clearly prefers his bishop on d3 and not on e2 in almost all the variations. Actually, in some variations with bishop e2, white then plays bishop d3. So then there is the question, well, what is the drawback of this move, bishop d3? Well, the main one is a tactical idea. And again, it's not a drawback, but basically where black has to play, in my opinion. Bishop a5, or even possibly knight takes c3 with the idea for black, using the pin on the king on e1. Of course, this would have been impossible with bishop on e2. Let's just examine why. Because capture and then capture again is losing simply to queen a4 check and winning the bishop. When the bishop is on d3, at the end of this variation, black simply captures the bishop on d3. With all this, let's start with actually the very first idea for black, which is immediately taking on c3. Its possibility looks quite dangerous for white, but take on d4, castle is of course possible, bishop b5 is maybe the major alternative. What is quite unique about those positions is they are so unclear and messy, it's absolutely impossible to draw a clear conclusion in almost any of the lines. So for people that just want to play and explore, this is a unique possibility. Bishop b5, king f8. Before this we can see a very old game between some chess legend Najdorf against Botish, where castle was played, queen takes c3,